take a couple minutes, look at the problem, try to solve for it, and then I'll see you back up at the whiteboard in just a couple minutes. Okay, so the first thing to notice here is that we've got some pretty large numbers. So even if you were to use a calculator, it'd be very difficult to do this problem because at least the calculator I have won't let me do this to the 90th power or this to the 60th power. So doing it by hand is actually the way we're going to choose over here. One thing you'll notice is I've got a series of fractions. So I'm going to simplify this by saying this is 1 to the x power over 6 to the x power. Any fraction you have, if you take it to a power, if you remember our rules for multiplication of fractions, you can simply do this because it's going to be 1/6 times 1/6 times 1/6 x number of times. I'm going to multiply that by 1 to the 60th all over 8 to the 60th equals 1 to the 90th all over 24 to the 90th. Okay. Now 1 to any power is actually just going to be 1. Doesn't matter what you have here for an exponent, it's still going to be 1. So 1 to the x power is still going to be 1 over 6 to the x times 1 over 8 to the 60th equal to 1 over 24 to the 90th. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to simplify this a little bit because if you multiply across in the fractions, you'll know that 1 times 1 equals 1. So that really doesn't give us any information about x. We're really just concerned with the denominators. So really, we know that 6 to the x times 8 to the 60th must be equal 24 to the 90th. What you're actually trying to do here is you're trying to get the left side of the equation to look like the right side of the equation and make it as simple as possible to do that. So let's start with the denominators. And I'm going to say, as I mentioned, I'm going to take out the numerators here. And I'm going to say that 6 to the x times 8 to the 60th power equals 24 to the 90th power. So again, since I can multiply across, 1 times 1 equals 1. So that means this, 6 to the x times 8 to the 60th, must equal 24 to the 90th power. as I mentioned a minute ago, you want the left side to look like the right side of the equation. So I'm going to have to make this look kind of like this. Here's a little trick. Whenever you see 2 to some power, you should probably memorize 2 to the 0th power. 0th? I don't even know if that's a word. 2 to the 0 power to 2 to the 10th, just so you can recognize that. Make sure you memorize that. And that's not minus. This is this to this. So when you see that, you will actually, all right, mem there, to let you know you should memorize that. This is separate from the rest of the problem. This, I look at this and right away I think this is 2 to the 3rd power. So I'm going to write here 6 to the x times 2 to the 3rd to the 60th equals, I'm going to try to get this side to look like this side. So this is going to be the same thing as 4 to the 90th times 6 to the 90th. There's actually a rule here with exponents that you can either have the same base and different exponents and then combine them. Like if you had x to the a times x to the b, you'd get x to the a plus b. You can also have the same exponent and different bases and keep that to the, and combine those together. So 4 to the 90th times 6 to the 90th is the same as 24 to the 90th. So in this case, this again I'm going to look at as 2 to the 2nd to the 90th times 6 to the 90th equals, and then here I'm going to combine these. So this is going to be 2 to the 180 power, because it's x to the a to the b. So I multiply those two together. 3 times 60 is 180. It'll be 6 to the x. And again, you're going to do that over here. Let's say this is 2 to the 180th power times 6 to the 90th equals 60 to the x. Sorry, 6 to the x times 2 to the 180th power. And as with any other algebraic equation, you notice the same thing on both sides and you're multiplying. You can simply divide it out. You could say this side divided by 2 to the 180th power. That'll just give you a 1. Do the same thing on the other side. If you do it to one side, do it to the other side. So in this case, 6 to the x equals 6 to the 90th, or x equals 90.